fired for job searching. She didn't expect her downfall would come from me. My name is Stephanie, and for 4 years, I gave everything to a company that couldn't even pretend to value me. When I first joined Lexton and Vale Management, I wasn't desperate, but I was determined. I needed stability, and the job promised opportunity. They told me I'd grow fast, learn fast, and be rewarded even faster. For the first 6 months, it felt true. I worked late, volunteered for tough projects, covered for absent coworkers, and even joined meetings outside my department. People started depending on me. I became their unofficial glue. But then, nothing. No raise, no promotion, no recognition. Just expectations. The company kept taking because I kept giving. My manager, Miss Rowan, was the kind of woman who pretended to smile with her teeth but not her eyes. She had an uncanny ability to praise you just enough to keep you from leaving, but never enough to acknowledge your worth. By year 2, I realized the praise was just noise, empty, a distraction. By year 3, I was burnt out. By year 4, I was quietly planning my escape. You might think 4 years is too long to stay unappreciated, and you're right. But life has a way of trapping you in routines you don't question until something shakes you awake. My awakening came unexpectedly during a performance review that lasted exactly 6 minutes. Performance reviews were supposed to be constructive, meaningful, a chance to highlight growth. But with Rowan, they were just another chore she squeezed between her urgent personal errands. When I walked into her office, she didn't even look up. She was scrolling on her phone, giggling at something, probably a meme. Without glancing at me, she said, "Let's make this quick." My heart dropped. She skimmed her laptop screen, not even reading properly, and concluded, "You're steady, reliable. But unfortunately, budget limitations mean we can't approve any raises this year." Again, 4 years straight. I looked at her. I've taken on triple my original workload. I've been training new staff. I've saved this department thousands. She cut me off with a hand wave. I know, Stephanie, and we see that. But you should be grateful you even have stability here. A lot of people don't. Grateful. The word felt like a slap. I forced myself to stay calm. Other companies are paying significantly more for the same role. Her eyes finally landed on me, sharp, narrowed, threatened. Are you applying elsewhere? I didn't answer. Silence is an answer of its own. She leaned back, lips curling. Stephanie, don't be foolish. Loyalty is everything in this industry. You won't find another team that treats you like we do. For the first time in years, I smiled inside because I had finally realized that was exactly the problem. That night, I polished my resume, updated my portfolio, and sent applications. Dozens. I felt hopeful for the first time in years. I didn't know then that this simple step, taking back control, would ignite the chaos that came next. 3 weeks later, something strange began happening. Random people from HR started greeting me with 2 friendly smiles. My manager kept peeking over my shoulder. My computer lagged in weird ways. IT asked me to restart for security updates twice in one day. I knew it. They were watching. You see, Lexton and Vale had a history of monitoring employees, especially those suspected of job disloyalty. They couldn't legally say it out loud, So they labeled it performance integrity tracking. Basically, if they think you're job searching, you're marked. But I was careful. I used my phone on lunch breaks, never the work computer. I used personal email. I never talked to coworkers. Still, Rowan sensed it, and she shaded it. One morning, she called me into her office again. No smile this time. "Have you been applying to other jobs?" I shrugged. "I'm exploring opportunities. That's normal." Her jaw tightened. "Not when we've invested in you." Invested? I almost laughed. They invested in me the way someone invests in a broken chair, by ignoring it until it collapses. She spoke quietly, dangerously. "Stephanie, if you're not committed to this company, maybe we need to reevaluate your role." There it was, the threat. But I was done being scared. I looked her right in the eye. "If you're not committed to paying me fairly, maybe you should reevaluate it." Her expression twisted. In that moment, I knew something irreversible had snapped. It happened on a Thursday morning, the kind of morning where you expect nothing except your usual burnout. I was halfway through updating a project file when Rowan appeared beside my desk. No knock, no warning, just the shadow of someone who enjoys authority a little too much. "Pack up your things. You're done here." I froze. "Excuse me?" She smiled, a small, triumphant, venomous smile. "HR confirmed you've been looking for other jobs. That's grounds for termination under lack of loyalty and breach of trust." Breach of trust. I clenched my fists. "You can't fire me for wanting a better future." "I just did," she said coldly. My coworkers watched silently, wide-eyed, none of them daring to intervene. Rowan enjoyed every second of it, the humiliation, the power. "Leave your ID badge," she added. My hands trembled as I placed it on her desk, not from fear, but from rage. She whispered as I walked out, "You won't land anything better. People like you don't go far." People like me? She had no idea who she was talking to, because in that moment, I decided something very simple. If she wanted war, I would give her a masterpiece. That same afternoon, while I was sitting on my couch, staring at the wall, wondering how I let them waste 4 years of my life, my phone rang. A company I had interviewed with called to say, "Stephanie, we'd like to offer you the Senior Operations Director position." I went still. Director. Not assistant, not coordinator. Director. "Your experience running systems at your last company is impressive," they continued. "We believe you'd be an asset, effective immediately." This wasn't just a raise, this wasn't just a promotion, this was an upgrade on a cosmic level. I accepted. Better pay, a private office, benefits Rowan wouldn't even dream of, and a salary nearly 4 times what I made before. But the universe wasn't done giving me satisfaction. 1 week into my new role, during a meeting with the corporate team, I saw a familiar name on the vendor list. Lexton and Vale Management, my old company. They weren't just a client. They were a dependent. They needed my new company's approval for their annual partnership renewal. And the person handling their file? Me. I sat back in my chair, breath caught in my chest as a slow smile spread across my face. Rowan fired me for job searching. Rowan humiliated me in front of coworkers. Rowan told me people like me don't go far. Well, now I was the person whose signature determined whether her department kept its funding. Poetic. deliciously poetic. 2 weeks later, the meeting was scheduled. Rowan, her director, and 2 HR reps arrived on a Zoom call. They expected a man to be the new senior director. They expected someone older, someone stiff, bureaucratic, easily manipulated. What they did not expect was me. The moment my camera turned on, Roland's face drained of color. "Stephanie?" I didn't smile. I didn't nod. I simply said, "Let's begin." Her director began presenting their annual performance justification for partnership renewal, trying to sound confident. But Rowan kept shifting in her chair, staring at me like she'd seen a ghost. I listened calmly, taking notes, letting the tension build. After they finished, I folded my hands and said, "Before we move forward, I need to address a concern." All eyes were on me. During my employment at Lexton and Vale, I documented numerous violations. Rowan's eyes widened in terror. Her director frowned. "What kind of violations?" I leaned back. "Managerial retaliation, employee monitoring without consent, unjust termination without cause, budget manipulation, hostile work environment. And then I have paperwork supporting every claim." Rowan's director turned toward her slowly, the kind of slow that precedes a professional execution. Stephanie, we can talk privately," Rowan stammered. I cut her off. "This is the private discussion." The director cleared his throat. "Ms. Rowan, is there any truth to these allegations?" Rowan stuttered, tried to shift blame, tried to use the same lies she used on me. But this time, she had nowhere to hide. I finished calmly. "Given the risk level, I'm recommending termination of partnership pending investigation." And with one click, I submitted the report. Rowan's job depended on this partnership. Her department depended on it. Her director's reputation relied on her performance. She looked at me with the same expression she had the day she fired me. But now the roles had reversed completely. "Stephanie, please." I looked at her, remembering everything. Every belittling comment, every stolen raise, every lie. Then I said softly, "People like me go very far." And I ended the call. 2 weeks later, I received a confidential update. Rowan had been demoted. Her department was stripped of funding. HR launched an internal investigation. Several employees came forward with complaints. Lexton and Vale lost their contract with my company entirely, worth almost $1.2 million. Her director resigned. HR restructured. The company spiraled. And Rowan, she was dismissed. Not politely, not quietly, with cause. She lost her job, her position, her reputation. Everything she used to intimidate others with was gone. I didn't celebrate. I didn't gloat. I simply made myself a cup of tea and exhaled. 4 years of neglect. 4 years of disrespect. 4 years of being underpaid, undervalued, underestimated. All undone with one signature from the woman she thought would never go far. When someone underestimates you, don't argue, don't defend. Level up and let your success deliver the revenge. Support the channel by liking and subscribing. Clara's Revenge brings new stories every day.